Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for your patience. This is Joanna the medium, and these are going to be readings for the month of May and June. They are coming late. I had some personal stuff come up. I had a loss in my family, and I was also hit with this energetic shift that made me feel, let's just say, discombobulated. So when that happens energetically, it's an interesting thing to go through, but it renders me not as effective when it comes to connecting. So I had to honor myself, and I had to honor my guides, and I needed to stay back a little bit and just allow this to pass through. The month of April and May have been quite challenging, to say the least, for many people. It has certainly been challenging for me. My understanding is that we were going through a massive energetic shift that has brought up a whole bunch of stuff to surface. So this would have affected differently to different people, but I am sure a lot of you were affected by it. So for me, it's coming to the end, but it has certainly not been an easy time to say the least. The month of May and June readings, or the month of May and June, are interesting because they felt very transitory to me. There is a lot of change in the air, and this could be because it's an after effect of the energetic shift. Most of the signs, if not all of the signs, are going through a lot of changes, transitions, a lot of endings, but also starting new beginnings. So very interesting to see. Almost every single one that I was doing had a component of ending on some levels, and endings are not bad. Endings just means that we are done with it. Our soul is done with it and says, okay, I want to experience something new and something different, something much more, something bigger, and it's time to leave some things behind. So be prepared that the month of May and June, or whatever is remaining in May, you may actually have experienced some of this in May, but because it's coming out a little bit later in May, you may have already experienced this, or you will experience this in the remainder of May and June. So just be prepared that some of the energies might still feel a little bit shifty and slightly uncomfortable. Not bad necessarily, but slightly uncomfortable. But I am being told that we're almost done with this energetic shift, and it will not happen for many years to come. We'll have little shifts, but this was quite I almost said expensive. It was quite expansive, and expensive on the energies, or on my emotions at least, for sure. Of course, these are general readings, so please listen to them. If they make sense to you, great. If not, listen to your moon, rising, or your other signs, or sun sign. And of course, if you would like a private session with me, that information is down below under show more section. I would be more than happy, honored to have a session with you. I think that's all I want to say. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for all your wishes. A lot of you have written to me asking if I'm okay, and yes, I'm okay, but it was challenging, to say the least. But thank you all so much for your concern. I truly appreciate it, and I am back on a regular schedule, and that's all I want to say. So again, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in July. Without further ado, let's get started. Hello, beautiful Sagittarians. This is your reading for the month of May, remaining of May, and the month of June. I have 4 cards. They're face down. When I was meditating on you, I'm doing a little bit different, something different with each sign. I asked for some keywords that would be representative of the month of May and June for the sign of Sagittarius. One of the things that I saw right away was the number 0, or the card of a Fool. Fool is a card that represents, or the energy that represents newness, new beginning. It is an energy of, like the Fool, being very innocent and childlike. However, these energies are not directed in any particular order or in any particular direction. So there seems to be a lot of new energy surrounding you with the month of May and June. And as a result, there are some decisions to be made with regards to moving forward in a particular area of your life. But there is newness. and the energy is conducive to starting new projects, starting new ideas, starting new relationships, starting anything that is new, and planting seeds for something that will ultimately grow down the road or in your future. The other things, a word that I kept hearing were patience, realizing goals which are conducive to or congruent with the energy, but also coming to terms with some situation in your life. And for different people, it will connect in a different area, but coming to terms with something in your life that has been long-standing is going to be a bit of a theme for some of you in the month of May and June. And for some of you, it may signify some endings. But remember, the overall energy that I felt was an energy of new beginnings. And oftentimes, or almost always, in order to be able to begin something new and to give energies to something new, we have to stop giving energies to something old that has expired, no longer serves us, or it served its purpose and it no longer is going to be part of our life. So some of you are going to have to make some decisions around a certain aspect of your life. Now, I was trying to get a card regarding which chakra will be most affected, and I just kept hearing, he just kept saying to me, 7th chakra, 7th chakra. So I didn't even bother with the cards because they couldn't come out, and I'm just going to go with what he said. 7th chakra is this energy center. This is your crown chakra, and in the month of May and June, it would be wise for you to be guided by your intuition. It's very, very important. Connecting with your source, whatever your source is, God, Buddha, universe, whatever that means for you, connecting with that which is important to you, spiritually speaking, and allowing that to guide the next sets of circumstances or decisions on your path or in your life. So using your sixth sense, using your intuition, using the wisdom of your soul rather than the wisdom of your brain. And sometimes that can be tricky for those of us who are analytical, yes, me included. But trusting in your own ability to make the right decision is going to be very important for you in the month of May and June. Now, the card that actually represents the overall energy, we have the card called Intuition. So, well, isn't that interesting? 2 is number for collaborations, unions, but it also, for me personally, 2 signifies weighing options, weighing decisions. Intuition, that's pretty straightforward. This basically signifies that, again, in the month of May and June, I'm drawn to May for some reason. So for some of you, it has already transpired, depending on when you will watch in May, and these are coming late. But the overall energy is, or the message is, in those 2 months, be guided by your intuition, particularly when it comes to making choices and decisions, either in your relationships or with regards to life direction or direction in your life in some area. Okay? And I also hear the word balance. So when you're making decisions, when you're making choices, take into the account what will bring you greatest balance, greatest harmony, internally speaking. If we have more harmony within, if we feel harmonious, and if we feel at peace and balanced, we will then reflect that to the universe, and the universe will bring us back people and situations what's the word I'm looking for? Validate. That's not the right word, but to basically not validate how we feel, but to complement, thank you, what we are feeling internally. Sometimes I'm lost for words. So that's the overall energy. Now, the card that represents relationships, we have the card called Control, which is in reverse. This is a major arcana. Card number 8, to me, it signifies power. All about power, wisdom, inner power. Because this card is shown to me in reverse, for some of you, with regards to relationships, there is a conflict in a relationship. So it's a couple of things. You are either in conflict, or is it a conflict within you regarding a relationship, or you and somebody else in a relationship are in conflict. Those two things are highlighted. And what he's showing to me here is that the card number, this card, Intuition and Choices and Decisions, this may very well connect to that message that I was talking about earlier, that there will be choices and decisions. You are moving in a new path, in a new direction. There is a newness in the air, the energy of brand new beginnings. And sometimes we need to sever ties or cut ties with that which no longer serve us. So for some of you, you need to regain more authority in your life. You need to regain more control within yourself. You need to feel more you need to feel more secure, and you need to feel more confident in who you are, which will obviously reflect in your relationships. So there's a number of you that have been questioning, wondering, contemplating, weighing the options out, thinking, trying to figure it out. And it's been going for quite some time. For some of you, it's months. For some of you, it's years. And the word conflict comes up here. So if you are in a relationship, married or otherwise, or this could be a relationship with a loved one, as in a family member or friend, or anyone you connect to emotionally on a deep level, if something has been tugging at you saying, this is no longer working, I feel like in the month of May and June, that is going to come up to surface, and it's gonna kind of stare you in the face and say, what are you gonna do with me? Now remember, use your intuition when it comes to decisions and making choices and judgments. Also, the message that I got earlier, coming to terms with some situation in your life, is the theme for the month of May and June. So it may very well mean for some of you that you decide to part ways. Now, obviously, that's not going to be for all of you, because there's thousands of you that listen. But for those of you who need to hear it, the biggest thing is you need to listen. You need to listen to your intuition. That is very, very, very important. Your intellect will just pull you away, and it will tell you things to make you doubt. This is about a gut feel. Okay? Just want to see if there's anything else. I feel some of you are meeting somebody, and I'm seeing people shaking hands. So you are meeting somebody, and because we're talking about relationships, the feeling I get is that you might meet someone of interest in a month of May and June. Whether he or she is the one, that is not being said, but meeting someone of interest who will potentially become your partner, your mate, or a significant other is quite probable, not even possible, but quite probable for those of you who are singles or those of you who are looking. Okay? For some of you, I'm seeing a triangle, and triangle to me signifies there's 3 people in a relationship and not 2. And I hear the words, get out of it. Do yourself a favor, get out of it. So if you are in a triangle relationship, or if you are involved with somebody who's also involved with somebody else, and that makes it a triangle, the message is, do yourself a favor and leave or get out. that is, and of course, that's going to not apply to all of you. Let me just see if there's anything else. For some of you, you need to free yourself emotionally from something that you are in, for a relationship that you are in. Because I'm seeing a white dove, which to me signifies spiritual aspect of you, and I'm seeing the white dove behind bars, or it's in a cage. To me, that is a symbol of not being free to be who you truly are. And then I see the white dove flying away and leaving the cage behind, nowhere to be found. So some of you need to save yourself or free yourself from an existing relationship that has been tumbling, or it has been demeaning to you. The word power, control, not having any. You need to save your, I keep saying save yourself. You need to free yourself from that relationship. I hear the word oppression. Some of you are in a relationship where you feel oppressed. And yes, I understand that sometimes it's very difficult to get out. But if you do not put an end to it, no one else can do it for you. And if somebody saves you from it, you will undoubtedly go there again with a different person. You need to free yourself from it. So that's an interesting message for some of you. Some of you are stuck in a relationship because of finances, and that's always very difficult. That's a tricky situation. But if you are in a relationship where you are stuck purely because of convenience, or purely because of the monetary aspect, if you can, sometimes you can't, if you can, do yourself a favor and open yourself up to other options. Now, that doesn't mean open yourself up to another person right away, but open yourself up to the universe and ask for help, okay? But then take help when it's given to you. So that's message around relationships. And for those of you who are happy, fantastic, because you don't need messages, everything is hunky-dory, and this doesn't apply to you, which is fantastic. I wouldn't worry about it. No, this is only for those of you who need to hear this. Some of you are definitely feeling like you're in a cage, or like you're stuck, or like you're in prison, or like you feel there's nowhere else to go with this. That's the message for you, okay? Now, finances, career, and abundance. Let's see what the card is. So, awaiting results, which is 7 of Pentacles, but the card is in reverse. So, to me personally, as I get intuitive message here, it's time to go ahead with some plans. Some of you have been contemplating starting either a new position, thinking of going back to school, wanting to get a new job or career, contemplating about whether you should leave or stay with regards to your work situation. The message for most of you is stop procrastinating, move your butt, and do something about it. Sorry. That's him, it's not me. But in all seriousness, this is a time of doing. It is not a time of thinking and procrastinating and thinking and overthinking. So if you have been wondering whether you should leave a certain situation or expand your horizon, or whether you should start a certain project, book for some of you, the time is now to get things moving. Now, obviously, for those of you who are working, what is being asked of you is not to go and quit tomorrow or whenever you hear it, but it is to start planting some seeds. Open yourself up energetically. Check your vibration, as in, what is keeping you where you are. Maybe sometimes we want to get out from a job, but we actually are not consciously aware of what makes us be there. And sometimes certain work serves us in a certain way energetically. We get out of it what we need, and it's time to move on. And sometimes we get stuck in a rut because we don't feel confident, we don't feel worthy, we don't feel deserving of something better, whatever it is. Point is, it's time to make some serious decisions and do something about it, as rather than complaining or contemplating to no end. So that's for some of you regarding career. Some of you, I hear, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money, I have no money, there's no money. And my guide says there's money everywhere. And of course, this is a metaphor. What is being illustrated by this is the poor me mentality. And I hope I'm not going to upset anybody here, but so maybe this is for someone who you know, maybe not necessarily for you. If you have a pessimistic outlook on life, if you feel there's nothing out there for me, it's always going to be bad, I always will end up in this situation. If this is the time, if this is the mind frame you have, or frame of mind that is in you, if that's your belief system, you might want to check that. Because if this is the ideology you cling to, that is what you will keep experiencing over and over and over and over. That's why I gave the basic example. Those who come out of an abusive home will 9 times out of 10 attract an abusive partner. Not because they want to, it's because subconsciously that's what they believe is their truth. So you might want to look at your belief system and how you approach your life with the way you think, and notice if your perceptions about abundance and about money is negative. Because if it is, the universe will just keep providing you situations to say, yes, you're right, here's your proof. That's how it works. So it's a bit of an interesting message here, but some of you will need to understand this, or will need to hear this. Some of you need to go back to school, and for some of you this is going to be part-time. And again, I feel like you've been contemplating about it, thinking about it, asking whether you should, asking whether it's convenient, whether it's the convenient time or the right time. Again, whatever it is, the time is now. And whether you plant the seeds now or make plans for September or whatever time, or whether you decide this is what you're going to do and this is when you're going to do it, this is time for action. And remember, the overall energy is decisions and also newness, the energy of the Fool. So there's definitely new beginnings for you, whether they're physical beginnings, new beginnings, or there is a change of perception, which will then translate into physical manifestation. That is all about new beginnings. And remember, coming to terms with your situation. So sometimes in order to make a change, we have to come to terms with the fact that we are the ones stopping ourselves from moving forward. And many of us have that. I used to be that way, absolutely 100%. So I had to work really hard to change my mentality and change my perception, but it can be done. It absolutely can be done, but recognition of such must first come to play, because it's very difficult to change something when we don't know exists. It's like, the way I call it, it's like chasing ghosts. Good luck. You'll never chase one because you don't know what you're looking for or what it looks like, right? So that's the message around career and finances. Let me just see if there's anything more. So, okay, some of you are looking in your purses, metaphor, and there's a black hole. There's no money. So you actually have no money. And for some of you, this could be a situation where you're having difficulty making payments for rent, or you've been really down on your luck and it's hard. And sometimes we do get to those places, absolutely. And sometimes it is because of what we believe and we don't even know it, because most of it's subconscious. And sometimes we just have to go through a period of time in order to accomplish something, spiritually speaking. But what I'm being shown here is, For those of you who are having real difficulty financially, I hear the word help is on the way. Okay. Some of that help is going to come from some institutions, and these are institutions you have applied to. And some of you, money is going to come from other income, from other people. And I also hear employment income. Some of you, you're going to get employment. Maybe you're going to get a better job. But the message is help is on the way. I don't feel anyone here that is listening is going to resort to being on the street. I don't see that, because he's saying to me, there are some of you that have been down on your luck, and it's not pretty. It's not. Help is on the way. Okay, you need, for those of you, and it's not going to be a lot of you, but for those of you, this is when faith is really important. But this is also when faith gets really, really challenged. Because when things are going okay, it's easy to have faith. It's easy to trust. It's easy to believe. When things are not going so well, it is so much harder to have faith. So whatever you believe in, have faith in the fact that this too shall pass. Just like you have faith and don't think about breathing because you know you're going to take a breath the next moment. Just like you have faith the sun will come up the next day. Just like you have faith that tomorrow is going to be another day. That's the kind of faith I'm talking about. It doesn't mean it has to be God, Buddha, whatever, universe, whatever you believe in. Believe in something. Believe in something that's greater than you that you can't see. Because in those times of difficulty, that is when it's really, really important to believe in something, because that often is the only thing that carries us through. Okay? So the message is help is on the way. Now, the next card is regarding health, and we have the card called Master, or this is the Devil card, I believe, in the traditional tarot deck. This is also a card of addiction. This is shown to me in reverse, but at this point, I don't feel it makes a difference. When you look at this card, this particular person is holding a heart, and the heart is in a cage, in prison, which is interesting. What I was seeing earlier, which was a dove in a cage. So that's kind of interesting. Basically, this card signifies overcoming, because it's in reverse. In its upright position, this card talks about addictions. It talks about things that we do, behaviors that deter us from being fully present in life. So it's addictions, it's whatever it is. Addictions is the word that I use, but addiction doesn't have to be just to substance. It could be addiction to sex, behavior, a thrill, anything that is overused and abused, and that does not allow you to be present in your life. Because it's shown to me in reverse, some of you are overcoming addictions, and I think I got that message in another sign. So check your other signs and see if it's the same message that comes up, because if it does, then that's a really important message for you to hear. Some of you are overcoming addictions with regards to your concept of self. So the way you believe about yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the way you think about yourself. So this is about mental health. And oftentimes, actually almost always, and I don't say always because there's always room for, something. There's never absolutes. There's very few things that are absolutes. We're not going to be here one day. That's an absolute. But when we are mentally unbalanced, let me put it this way. People who are healthy and balanced and in harmony will not, typically speaking, be addicted to something, because an addiction is signifying an imbalance of internal something that is then fulfilled by a certain addiction. So this is talking about mental health. Some of you, it's to do with drinking. Some of you are overcoming being addicted to coffee, which I don't know if you can be addicted to coffee. I suppose you can. And you are going through some withdrawals, because what I'm hearing is a headache. I'm seeing somebody having a headache, and I feel that whatever this headache is, it's because something is being taken away from the body, and the body is needing to adjust, and it almost feels like a bit of a withdrawal. So this could be smoking, this could be alcohol, this could be addictions to drugs, this could be coffee, this could be anything that is overused and misused, abused, and overused. So that's one aspect. Some of you are overcoming certain behaviors, and I hear the word anger, and maybe you've been working on your anger. Maybe you have been, it's not maybe, you are working on an aspect of you that is angry. I hear the word anger management. So maybe some of you are actually taking courses on anger management, or you are seeing a counselor that is helping you manage anger. I would never suppress anger. As a matter of fact, when we suppress anger, then it comes out in ways that is very unhealthy. Anger is a very normal reaction. What we do with anger is the problem, or can be the problem. Feeling anger is really, it's just an emotion. And emotions, there's no right or wrong about emotions. They simply are a product of what we feel, see, and what we experience. So suppressing one's emotion often will turn into anger. So some of you are dealing with some anger issues, or you have a spouse who's dealing with some anger issues. So there's something around that. I also hear couples counseling, and it didn't come up in a relationship, but some of you are dealing with a partner who is addicted, or they're mentally unhealthy, or they're going through some kind of a mental conflict within themselves. And I see you, whoever you are, participating in some kind of a therapy program where you are involved in helping to understand your spouse, your significant other, your child, whoever this is, and it's in a context of addiction or drug abuse or abuse in some other way. So this is about mental health, which is mental health can also affect the body, obviously. So that's quite significant. And for some of you, you're a mom dealing with this. I'm also hearing the number 17. Maybe some of you have been dealing with this for 17 years, or you have a son who's 17 years old who is addicted. I hope not, but it does happen. There's something with the number 17 here. 17 maybe is a date. There's something with the number 17 that will make sense to those of you who are meant to hear it. I also hear that this has been your headache for quite some time. So it seems to be around addiction. And I think it's, for some of you, it's you're dealing with an addiction and that's been your headache. Or for some of you, you are dealing with someone who is dealing with an addiction and that has been your headache or a thorn in your back. Very difficult thing to go through, no question about it. Again, I hear the words, help is on the way. Some of you have been in the past reluctant to ask for help. If you are someone who is dealing with addictions, or have been dealing, you are someone dealing with addictions, please know that you can always ask for help. There are people who care for you and who love you, and who are there to make sure that you are going to be okay. So this is significant. The message here is, don't be shy to ask for help, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because I feel whoever I'm tapping into, if I ask for help, I feel like I'm going to be rejected. So that's coming up as well. And I think that's all I have. 8. A lot of you who are dealing with addictions or any kind of behavior, and I'm talking about mental health, you have a challenge with your own power. The number 8 is being shown to me. as in you're feeling very insignificant, and that is causing majority of your conflict within. So you might want to tap into that and see if there's any form of therapy that you could be involved in order to help you resolve some of that inner conflict. I'm getting a headache, so there's obviously something internally there, subconsciously even perhaps, that's causing you to be at conflict within yourself. Okay? And I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for your patience, and I hope this made sense to you. Of course, this is a general reading. It is only meant to apply to those who are meant to hear it. So if you're not getting out of this anything out of this month, then that means that everything is okay and you're not in a dire need of anything. And just listen to your other signs, or maybe these are just not for you this month, and that's okay. If you would like to comment to let me know how this applies to you, I always love reading comments. Sometimes I don't reply to all of them because it's almost impossible, but I always read them. So feel free to do this. And of course, if you wish to have a private session with me to help you understand how this fits with you, or get a session about you in particular, that information is down below. Thank you so much again for watching, for subscribing, for sharing, and for liking. I look forward to seeing you again in July. Okay? Take care.